here, why they happened, what's being done about them, why is it silent, why won't the industry tell the public the truth and show you what's actually happening. Our first disclaimer is that we're not here today to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. Just look at that. The camera up there is facing down on our approach. This is our normal approach here. They don't know that we're coming from this side, so today is going to be an element of surprise for them. They're expecting us to come from the other side.
Yeah, I can hear trucks moving.
I can hear moving. What's going on in here? I'll go through our disclaimers in a second, guys. Let me just see what's happening. Yeah, 2 trucks. One in the layerage, one in the washdown area. Animals are inside here today. Animals are here. Let's get set up and then we'll go through everything from the beginning. Oh my God, the smell. The smell hits you every time you get here. It's horrible. All right, we're just getting set up here, guys. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse here in the UK. Our first disclaimer is that we're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today under our right to peaceful protest, our right to assembly, and our right to freedom of speech. Our second disclaimer is that we are not here today to point fingers and judge non-vegans and say you're a bad person, we're better than you, etc., etc., etc. We're here today to come alongside you and show you the realities of these industries that they don't want you to see. Everything that we're showing you today, they do not want the public knowing, they do not want the public seeing. With that said, when you come into the chat, please subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan already. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream. Getting as many likes in here as fast as possible means that when animals are coming in, they are seen. Now it smells so bad here. There's already a trail of defecation from the floor here all the way into the slaughterhouse. That's because when the animals turn up here, they're so fear-induced, they're so like scared that they just defecate everywhere. Now we're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. You can hit the top 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, go into the description of this live stream and look at the Animal Aid link right at the top. If the link isn't active, you can copy and paste it into your browser or simply go to animalaid.org.uk to have a look at the Animal Aid website now. They have just done another report back on the FSA findings. If you don't know who the FSA are, it's the Food Standard Authority. I'm going to tell you all about it. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. I've got my head in a swivel because I'm wondering what's happening behind me right now.
There's a lot of bashing happening, isn't there?
Now, the FSA report was done by Alex Activism from Animal Aid. 8 major non-compliances were found in an audit at this very facility that we stand in outside of right now. And there were up to 19 minor non-compliances. Now, this place still got a general satisfactory audit report from the FSA. Isn't that shocking? Now, why aren't the public notified that this particular slaughterhouse, who is killing cows, dairy cows and cows from the meat industry, they have got 8 major non-compliances. Let me tell you what some of them are. One of them is improper handling of animals. Second ones are improper restraints of animals at time of killing. Third ones was layerage conditions not up to standard. Fourth one was CCTV not viewable, not being able to show a clear picture, especially on the kill floor. Another one was lack of certificates of competence. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream. Now, we're not here today to say that we want these welfare regulations adhered to, and that's the be-all and stopping point. We're not here for welfare. We're here for rights. We're here to say that animals should have the right to their bodily autonomy and they should have the right to their life. But what we're trying to show you, the consumer, is the distrust in the industry that lie to you. Now, the FSA, the Red Tractor, the RSPCA, humane washing market in terms like free range, organic, grass-fed, these terms, these authorities, these stamps of approval, they're there for the consumer, for the general public, to stop you ever questioning or critically thinking about what happens behind these gates. These are mothers from the dairy industry who have had baby after baby taken from them so that their breast milk can be commodified and profited from. When that system is no longer optimal, they get executed and murdered. Males in the dairy industry are murdered within a couple of weeks, up to 6 months for veal. females, isolation hutches away from mums. They'll never see them again. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat. If you are anti-vegan, double tap the live stream. We're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. Please go into the top 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. Click on the description. Look at the top link there. That is Animal Aid's report done on the FSA findings here at this very facility at this this ABP slaughterhouse. We're here today to show you the truth and the reality. These industries, by the way, they survive off of secrecy. They can't even do a transparent marketing campaign, because even if they were just simply transparent and told you the truth, it's absolutely horrific what they do to animals. For example, like I just said, in the dairy industry, they force pregnancies on mother cows and steal their children. And then they steal their breast milk, and then they steal their bodies. They execute them, they kill them. How awful is that? In the egg industry, at 1 day old, male chicks are classed as a waste product because male chicks don't produce eggs. They get put into blenders. These systems are certified and assured by certain governing bodies that are there to simply greenwash, humane wash, and brainwash the public into never thinking about it and never seeing the injustice. But for 1 second, look at it from the animal's point of view, look at it from their perspective. Well, we've come in here today, we're underneath the CCTV camera right now, so hopefully they don't know that we're here. We're not shouting too much. The truck
driver can see us.
The truck drivers can see us. Now, these trucks, the one on the right, that one would have been dropping the animals off into the layerage. This is like a big waiting room where the animals wait to go in to be executed and killed. The one on the left is in a washdown area. They have to wash these vehicles down every time that they drop the animals off, because the animals are so scared, they defecate everywhere, all over inside them. Often you get downed dairy cows in the dairy industry, and it's quite common for them to be executed and murdered on the trucks because they're so tired that they can't even stand up. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Our disclaimers again: we're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, intimidation. We're not here to judge non-vegans. We're here to talk. So please get your questions coming in the chat. Let's get round to answering some amazing questions. Last week was so successful for questions. Did you have your hand up for a question there?
Not yet. So Lily edits stuff. This is so sad. Poor babies. Yeah. What can people do if they think this is sad?
The first thing you do is you go vegan. You stop being personally responsible for these animals going inside slaughterhouses. Second thing you do is you go and look at the link in the description. Go to Animal Aid's report on the FSA findings here that was literally released a few weeks back.
Some workers here. Who's coming out here?
Here they are. Here comes the security. Now, what they're going to do now, if you watch to the right-hand side, they're going to turn this gate. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to. Yeah, he is. They're going to turn this gate onto manual because this gate is slow at the moment. When you hit the on button here, this gate takes a few seconds to open and close. Now you watch how secret that this industry tries to be. This industry tries to hide the truth from you so much that they're willing to come out here and push and pull this gate manually just so the public don't see the animals going inside. What happens when good people see the eyes and the ears of animals as they go inside slaughterhouses? They don't like it. They feel uncomfortable and they go vegan, because to them, they've all of a sudden connected with the animal. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the stream, go into the 3 dots, description, and Animal Aid's report on the FSA findings. Major non-compliance is here. Improper stunning of animals, improper handling of animals. Absolutely horrific. Why is this place still running? We're not here for welfare, we're here for rights. But we're here to show you and get the public's distrust in these industries. If you want to make sure that you're never responsible for the violence towards animals and literally make sure that you're airtight, there's no chance, then you simply become vegan. Because when you're vegan, you've personally removed your responsibility of sending animals to slaughterhouses. It's as easy and simple as that. Go to Dominion on YouTube and watch the reality and the truth for yourself. Go and see what happens to animals inside slaughterhouses. You'll be absolutely shocked. The marketing campaigns done by these industries is amazing. They've made everyone believe that we're baby cows.
We've got a basketball something too. I mean, you can be vegan, just I don't want to.
Yeah, you're right, I can be vegan, but we could also say that about other injustices. I could say to you, you could be anti-racist, but I don't want to. You could be anti-slavery, but I don't want to. You could be against trafficking children, but I don't want to. It doesn't make any difference for the victim, does it? And when you're in the oppressor's position, it's really easy to just hold your hands up, sloping shoulders, and turn your direction and go about your day. But for the victim, it's very real. I saw a post the other day, and there was a picture of someone with a knife, and there was a pig. And the person with the knife was looking at the pig, and they said, "Don't worry, I'll make it quick." And the pig looked back and said, "Quick for you, but forever for me. And that is exactly what happens. When we talk about these industries, we're talking about taking everything from these animals forever. We're taking their life away. And this is where the injustice is. This is why we're here for rights, not welfare. This is why this industry needs to stop.
Yeah, that's so true. If you were the victim, you would not be looking for the right way to do the wrong thing. You'd want your life, you want to be left alone. There's no right way to kill someone who doesn't want to die, commodify them, use them as slaves or anything like that. Please go in the link in the description, because we're here outside the slaughterhouse today in collaboration with Animal Aid, who have done a report on the article released by the FSA. It's really well written out. Go and have a look in the link in the description of the laws aren't even being abided to, okay? We're not here for welfare, but what's happening inside here isn't even like abiding to the law, and how are they still allowed to run with criminal activity happening here?
Basketball 15, thank you for your comment. They put, I'm curious, what made you become vegan?
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if you're asking me or Steve, but we both went vegan at the same point. For 26 years of my life, I wasn't vegan. I always said I loved animals, but I was just disconnected. So basically, one day we sat down and we come across a video by Joey Carbstrong on YouTube, and he was explaining the dairy industry. And I remember thinking, like, why would you debate the dairy industry? Don't cows just eat grass and produce milk? I had no idea that actually what happens. Let me explain more in just a second. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Please like this live stream. Keep asking questions. We then, basically he was like, right, cows need to be pregnant to produce milk. They need to be a mum. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never even realized that. I didn't have a clue, because I was never taught that. Then footage of inside of a slaughterhouse of a mother cow being killed came up on the screen. And it broke both of our hearts. We both cried. We both couldn't believe what we were paying for. And in that moment, we both went vegan, because we could never pay for this ever again.
What's your objective today? Who are you here with? Where can people see more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So my objective here is to defend the animals. That's my only thing I'm trying to do, is defend animals from being oppressed and used and seen as commodities or resources for us. Okay, animals are going inside this place today. Dairy cows and beef cows go inside this particular place. We're here in collaboration with Animal Aid, who have done the article on the report from the FSA of the findings here, of the lack of incompetency here, the lack of restraining here, the lack of stunning the animals properly, lack of certificate of competence, unhygienic, misuse of equipment on the animals, all happening behind these gates, okay? All happening behind these gates. I'm not here for welfare, we're here for the abolishment of animal slavery completely, but people trust the places like the FSA, the RSPCA, where they shouldn't. You should have distrust in these industries, because they are a business. They just want your money. Okay, they're mugging you off for your money. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Please subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Just so you know, we are not here to hate on you guys. In fact, I want to say thank you for being on this live stream. We're not here to say you're a bad person. We're not here to rage bait. We're here purely to tell you the truth, because these industries have mugged us all off. They've lied to us all. Look, here's a truck that had victims on this morning. They get to leave. Shame on you! Shame on you! This truck is now empty, but had poor individuals in this morning. Yeah, wants to drive away. Shameful! Absolutely shameful! How do you live with yourself? How do you sleep at night, knowing what happens to these animals, knowing the lack of incompetency behind these gates, knowing they're not stunning animals correctly, knowing the lack of restraints in here? Horrific, but I'm not here for welfare, we're here for rights.
Vendetta, thank you very much for your super thanks. Vendetta's comment is, maybe get rid of animal cruelty on YouTube first. How do we stop these systems that are exploiting animals? And maybe explain to anyone coming in, where are we? What are we doing?
Yeah, so guys, please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. So we're not here for cruelty. Yes, cruelty happens when you see animals as a use, a commodity or a slave for you. That is why we are here advocating for veganism. If everybody was vegan, you wouldn't have the cruelty to animals happening, unless by the psychopaths of the world who hopefully one day will be put in prison for these evil, horrible acts. But if you're not vegan, you are paying for the cruelty, the suffering, the mutilation, the gas chambers, the knocking, the tail twisting, the electrocution. Absolutely horrific. You're paying for every single animal to be stabbed in the throat. Now, you may not have realised this because you're disconnected by words like humane, organic, free range, because the industry want you to pay their wage, okay? So of course they're going to lie to you and tell you these lies. Now, the reality is that if you are not vegan, you are paying for all of those things to happen. Every single animal is is used is. Sorry, I thought.
No.
The sun is like shining off the big
I
truck.
can see a better angle from where I am.
Okay. So yeah, the baseline is to be vegan. Veganism is an ethical stance against the use and exploitation of animals. It's not just a diet. It just relates to your diet. You go, here's how the animals will leave, chopped up into pieces. Okay, how can you kill someone and chop them up into pieces in a humane way? Even if they're from an organic place, free range, whatever, it's a load of rubbish. In here will be the body parts of innocent individuals who didn't want to die, okay? This is the most urgent issue of our time. They market it to you like fresh food. Animals are not food, their secretions are not food, their feathers are not for us. Yep.
Logan Cadell has put, hey guys, good news for you, I'm now vegan.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Remember, it's not for us, for the animals, but thank you so much for coming on to tell us that you are now vegan. Thank you for having a heart. Thank you for being the just normal member of society, that when you see something that is wrong and we shouldn't be paying for it, you remove yourself instantly. Thank you for being that person. Now please shine a light on what happens to the animals. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. We're here in collaboration today with Animal Aid. Okay, we're here in collaboration with Animal Aid, who have done the report on the FSA findings at this facility behind me. Last year it was horrific. This year it's got even worse.
A lot of people in here saying, oh, should a bear be vegan? Oh, should a lion be vegan? There's a lot of like, what about the apex predators? And there's also a lot of, your vegan food causes a lot of damage. Maybe you can just tie them up just together quickly.
Yeah, okay, basically, veganism is the ethical stance that you don't exploit animals and see them as a use or a commodity for you, okay? Yes, in plant farming there is accidental crop deaths, but if you wanna get the least amount of crop deaths, then you be vegan, because that is the best thing you can do. There's basically 90 billion animals forced into existence every single year who eat plants. There's only 9 billion humans in the world, so if you wanna cause the least amount of harm, you be vegan, okay? And the other thing is, let me explain in a second about the lions though and stuff like that. First subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Keep liking this live stream, guys. Keep asking questions. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, but lions eat other animals in the wild and all that kind of stuff. Well yeah, lions are obligate carnivores. They don't have any other option, okay? It's still horrific for the victim, but how can I go and speak to a lion when I can't even get you, who has a moral agency, to just stop paying for something where you can choose something else, okay? Just because lions sniff each other's bums doesn't mean you're gonna sniff someone's bum when you meet them. Just because lions eat the cubs of the pride that they are then like the top of in a pride, doesn't mean that when you marry someone with children, you're gonna eat their children, does it? Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. I'm outside a slaughterhouse today. They're killing cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry behind here.
Logan said, I watched a documentary on animals getting killed for meat. It made me sick. Most potentially could have been Dominion. You could watch that on YouTube. For the person he keeps putting in here, are you anti-abortion? This is an animal rights channel, so you're talking human rights. It's a different thing completely, so we won't be answering any questions on human rights. We're here today focusing on the animals.
Yeah, I'll just say, how could you be pro-life when you're taking away the lives of somebody else? By being vegan, you don't cause the unnecessary exploitation, slavery towards somebody else. But so you've got to look at yourself first. If you can't preach peace whilst you're consuming violence.
A lot of people saying meat is tasty. I like meat. I like eating meat.
Yeah, absolutely. No one stops eating animals because they stop liking the taste. In fact, the taste of animals is actually the plants. Animals don't taste of anything, but it's when you put the plants on and season it, that's when it tastes of something, right? So all you do is you have like seitan, tofu, and all the other alternatives that taste exactly the same. But ethically, you should be vegan for the animals. You can get the same taste everywhere else. This isn't just about taste. I'm just going to switch back in with Steve quickly.
Absolutely well said. I keep seeing a lot of comments in there saying animals are carnivores, yet you force your animals to be vegan. Now, animals like lions are different to animals like dogs. Animals are obligate carnivores in survival situations. Companion animals at home are dogs and our cats. We are in like stewardship on them. We look after them. And to do that, to make it optimal for them, we should also put them on plant-based diets. Absolutely. The science is that they live longer and they're healthier. All dogs, all cats should be on a plant-based diet for their health. But how about this? How do we justify killing one animal to feed another animal when you don't need to? It's the same situation as when it comes down to the choices that you make for yourself. Why would you, if you could only feed dogs dogs, how would you walk into a room with 2 dogs and choose which dog to kill to feed the other dog? How would you morally and ethically explain that? You can't. When they can survive and thrive with plants, it is the moral and ethical thing to do. Subscribe for 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe for 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, subscribe and put 3 in the chat. If you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream. Please put your comments in here. We're here today with Animal Aid. Go into the link in the description to see the FSA report done by Alex.
We've got dangerous thoughts, but you know most farms animals raised for meat would go extinct if we didn't eat them.
Absolutely, and that's the most moral and ethical thing to do. Breeding someone into existence just to commodify them and exploit them is unethical and it's horrific. Cows, pigs, chickens, they should all go extinct. They should never be here in the first place. Just because we breed them into existence don't make it sound like we're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Their life is miserable and all of them will end up being murdered. Today, the animals inside the building here are going to be murdered. Imagine that for them for 1 second. They've opened their eyes this morning, they've woken up to today, and today is the day that the industry has decided to stab them to death. They're all going to meet. Every time you drive past animals in the field, anytime you see sheep, cows, chickens, pigs, anywhere, they're all going to be stabbed to death. And this is why we're here today, to bring that to light, to get people to think about this, so that when you go to the supermarket, you don't just see a block of cheese, you see the mother who was individually executed for that cheese to exist. Subscribe for 1 if you're vegan, subscribe for 2 if you're not vegan, be open-minded, subscribe for 3 if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream.
VXX1N put they stunned them before.
Doesn't matter, it doesn't make it ethical. Even if they tickled them to death or sung them a song, or if they just drifted off to sleep, they're taking their life. Like I just said, the picture I saw the other day was a person with a knife, and they looked at the animal and they said, don't worry, I'm going to make this quick. And for the animal, they said, maybe quick for you, but it's forever for me. We're taking everything from them. We're ending their life. We're taking absolutely everything. It's the only thing that animals have, and we take it all for an optional product that we don't need.
We've got Mary Longbridge. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. They put our bodies need meat and plants.
No, our bodies need nutrients, and we can get all them nutrients from plant-based sources. You need micronutrients and macronutrients. All your amino acids come from plant-based sources. You can go to nutritionfacts.org to get all the evidence. You can go and look at their position on plant-based nutrition. You don't need to eat animals or drink their secretions or eggs at all.
We got Lily Edit stuff, but I'm now vegan for those poor babies. You guys are amazing for doing this. Shame on those workers for killing those poor animals. Get to live a happy life and long life.
Yeah, Lily, thank you from the animals for being vegan and removing your personal accountability. Lily, you're now not responsible for the violence and oppression towards an innocent animal.
Paul Kettle put I'm vegan.
Amazing. Paul, thank you very much for being vegan from the animals. Again, when good people see the truth, when good people see what happens or hear what happens, it's a real easy step. This is why we have the 1, 2, and 3. The majority of the world are dormant vegans. The majority of the world aren't anti-vegan. What I mean by that, I'm going to explain. Let me know while I'm explaining these to you. Let me know where you are right now. Subscribe and put 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe for 2 if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded, you're a kind person. And thank you very much for being here. We're not judging non-vegans. We really appreciate you being here. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Let us know where you are. Now, let me explain this, right? Most of the world is a dormant non-vegan because most of the world do consider either animals or animal welfare. A lot of people will go and pay extra for cage-free eggs, they'll pay extra for organic and free range, and a lot of people actually care about what happens to animals. This is just a dormant vegan. You just haven't been connected. From a very young age, we have the indoctrination of, like what a lot of people are saying in the chat, it's necessary, I need it, I need to eat meat for protein, I need cow's milk, I need it. So because you believe you need it, the next thing that they do is they try and search for the best way to make it happen, because actually we inherently care about animals. Look at children around animals. Children run up to animals and they cuddle them. We don't instinctively go and exploit animals, rip their heads off, drink their milk. This is a learnt behavior. This is conditioning. This is literally cognitive dissonance at its best. Now, when the world wakes up to what happens to animals, this is why we're here. We're here to reach the good people and say, did you know dairy cows don't produce milk because they eat grass and then just wander into the milking parlour and just willingly give up their milk? dairy cows have pregnancies forced on them, have every baby stolen from them, get extensively milked, even to a point where they can't stand. They get shackled so their legs don't splay open. They get absolutely drained of every ounce of life that they have, and then they get sent to a slaughterhouse to die. That's what happens. Subscribe and hit 1 if you're vegan already. Subscribe, put 2 if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded. You listen to why we're here. We appreciate you being here. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream. Put your comments in here. We're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. Please go into the 3 dots top right-hand corner, click on the description, and go to the link to the report done by Alex Activism over at Animal Aid on the FSA, the Food Standard Authority findings at the very facility, the ABP slaughterhouse that we're stood outside the front of right now.
We've got bugs are weird. Sadly, is a real product of their environment. It's not your fault that you think this. Number 2, but cutting down plants and harvesting plants releasing greenhouse gases, which are worse for the environment than just killing an animal in a controlled space humanely.
Yeah, look, this is all like a blurb from the industry. You can just see it. When people start regurgitating blurb from the industry, you can sort of see it and you can hear it. Now, if you want to look at the biggest driver of climate change, it's animal agriculture. Animal agriculture is the biggest driver of climate change, the biggest driver of deforestation, the biggest driver of wildlife and habitat destruction. It is the worst. Look at what's happening in South America for the soy fields, everything. It's ridiculous. If you took 100% of the land that is used for farming, 74% of that is used to exploit animals. Can you imagine the damage that we're doing? But let me tell you this. Veganism isn't about the environment. Veganism is solely about the individual. It's about the personal individual, the sentient being who's having a subjective experience of their life, going through commodification, exploitation, and murder. We don't say that I'm vegan for the environment, because if you can find a way to exploit animals and still be environmentally friendly, there'd be no problem, right? No, of course not. We look at it from the victim's perspective. Just so happens that being vegan is the best thing for the environment, is the best thing for your health. So you can hit all 3 goals with one simple action, and that's becoming vegan. Subscribe, put 1 if you've already done that. Subscribe, put 2 if you're not vegan yet, but you're open-minded. We appreciate you being here. We're not judging you. We want your questions in the chat. Subscribe, and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, hit the 3 dots, go into the description, and look at Animal Aid's report. Sorry, you got questions?
No, I just got someone, Logan Cadle, put, what milk can I have?
What, sorry?
What milk can I have?
Milk? I believe there's about 21 different plant-based milks. Your oat milk, soy milk, almond milk, rice milk, pea milk, hemp milk. Oh gosh, the list goes on. Choose any one of them. I personally like the Alpro 50-gram protein soya milk. It's in the black, white, and blue container, or just simple oat milk. Any of them milks, absolutely great. The good thing is having 21 different ones. If you don't like one, you've got another 20 to choose from, probably even more. Subscribe and hit 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe and hit 2. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Thank you for being here. Please put your questions in the chat. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Remember, we're here today not to clash. We're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or intimidation. We're here today to bring to light the injustice that happens behind the gate behind me, and to show the public the very things that the industry pay billions of pounds to hide from you. They don't want you to see these secrets. We're here today to show you the secrets that they don't want you to see.
Okay, we've got Gospel put in cow's milk is good. A few other people put what's wrong with dairy, so maybe explain the dairy industry.
Okay, let me give you dairy in 30 seconds because I know the chat moves fast and these last streams move fast. Here's dairy in 30 seconds. Artificial insemination, 9-month pregnancy, birth. Males executed 2 weeks to 6 months. They're a waste product in the dairy industry. Females, isolation until they're sexually mature enough to go back on the dairy line. Mother, extensively milked within an inch of her life until she can no longer produce enough milk or another baby. When she's viewed as a waste product in the industry, she's sent to the slaughterhouse, executed, murdered, and put into pet food. That's what you're paying for when you go and buy a block of cheese, when you go and buy milk. Even your organic, free-range, grass-fed milk, this is the system that you're paying for. This is why it's just evil. You want to remove your personal accountability, you go vegan, you go and buy the oat milk. No one gets hurt.
Buddy the Elf, but I'm vegetarian, but is vegan better or worse?
Vegan is, Buddy the Elf, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to comment. We appreciate it. Buddy the Elf, vegetarians pay for the system that I just explained. So what did that sound like to you? Horrific, right? Exploiting animals. Animals will come to this slaughterhouse to be killed for vegetarians. So veganism is the baseline. Veganism is the one. It's just the position where you're against the exploitation and use of animals. Simple. Let me swap over with Mel. She's going to tell you a bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to explain the egg industry as well for people who don't understand why eggs are so bad. So in the egg industry, all the eggs go to somewhere called a hatchery. They are the fertilised eggs from the parent breeder sheds to determine which egg-laying hens go where, okay? But the males are also there, so they sort the males and the females out. The males don't produce eggs, so they class them as a waste product. They dispose of them. The way they do this is they put them in an open blender alive or a gas chamber, or they put them in a black bag and tie the top and they suffocate to death. Okay, that's standard practice in the egg industry. Wherever you buy eggs, the males, that's what happens to them, okay? Now the egg-laying hens go off to these big barns, about 15,000 to 30,000 can be in a barn if they have a divider in. A lot of people don't understand what free range is. They think free range means they're outside. It's not what it means. Let me explain more in just 1 second, but please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, keep liking, sharing,
nearly 100
and
likes.
commenting. Let's get to 100 likes as soon as possible. So a lot of people think free range, that the animals have a great life. The only condition for free range is that they are not in cages, and they have one little access door to outside. Now, when you have 30,000 chickens in a massive barn, most of them don't even know that there is an access. And also, if you know anything about chickens, there is a pecking order, there's a hierarchy. About 1% of those chickens would even get a chance to go outside. Now, because that someone they sit at the door and they basically guard the door and don't let others out and stuff like that. There's also more in the chicken industry. Let me explain to you. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Now, we're not here for welfare. We're here against we're here to abolish animal slavery completely. Now, even if those chickens did live outside, they have been genetically modified to lay 300 eggs a year. Naturally, these chickens should only lay 12. So they're actually born into a prisoner of their own body. We know this. We have rescue hens at home who we save from the gas chamber because that's what happens to chickens at 18 months old. When their egg production slows down, the majority are sent to gas chambers.
Anyone turn up to the live stream, where are you? What are you doing? Is this rage bait? Who you're here with? What's behind you?
No, I'm not here to rage bait. I'm not here to hate on you guys. I'm here to defend the animals. I'm here in collaboration with Animal Aid today, who have done an article on the FSA report of the findings in this facility, major non-compliances, loads of minor non-compliances as well. It actually got worse from last year when the FSA turned up here. Go to the link in the description to see what is happening behind here, the lack of incompetency, not stunning animals correctly, misuse of equipment, unhygienic, lack of restraining, and all sorts of issues.
Kira the Dragon Put, I've got a question. What about the proteins, vitamins and nutrients that you get from meat?
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. So all of our nutrients actually come from plants. The reason that you think they come from animals is because you've been conditioned and you've been told that that is what happens. Now, all of our nutrients come from plants. The reason you get nutrients from the animals' bodies is because they eat the plants first, so you're getting your nutrients secondhand through the animal's body. Leave the animals alone, go straight to the source. You can still get vegan burgers, vegan sausages, vegan everything. All plants have protein in. As long as you eat your calories per day, you'll be all good. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. At a slaughterhouse behind me, they're killing cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry. There's 2 security guys on the door as well to open it.
Vladimir put, very articulate and clear. We need people to hear this. Why are we here today?
Yeah, awesome, thank you. So we're here purely to defend the animals. If you want to see more and understand why we're here, why as someone who loves animals so much is outside a slaughterhouse getting our hearts broken, go and watch Dominion on YouTube. On YouTube, it's a black thumbnail with a picture of a calf on the front. See for yourself what happens, because you won't see this anywhere else. We're purely here as your friend to tell you what is happening behind closed doors, and you're paying for it if you're not vegan, but we're not here to judge you. You've just been lied to by the industry, just like we have.
It's scary how the indoctrination runs so deep.
Yeah.
Even though you're stood outside of a slaughterhouse, even though you're explaining the industries, someone like Tega's put, they don't kill the cows, you morons. We're stood here where they're doing it.
Yeah, I thought the same. It's not your fault that you think that. I presume you're talking about dairy. The dairy industry is the meat industry. It's the veal industry. It's actually the most abusive industry on the planet. So what happens to these cows is they are forcibly impregnated. Cows don't just eat grass to produce milk. They have to be a mother to produce milk, just like your mum produces milk for you. Now, in the dairy industry, they make them pregnant by trapping them in something called a cattle crush. They then force them inside of her and inject her with bull semen. vegan. She carries her baby for 9 months, just like you would. But in the dairy industry, they take away her babies because they want to take her milk and sell it to you, and they kill the babies. Okay, and then when those mothers can no longer stand up after having this happen to them around 3 to 4 times, they get sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be killed. Behind me, the oldest animals in the farming industry are the dairy cows. They're around 4 years old. They should live to 27 years old. So they're all just infants, all just babies. Did you know something else? I'll tell you about the chicken industry in just a second. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. So you know I spoke about the egg industry. The chickens for the meat industry are a different breed. Okay, so you know I said how they selectively bred those chickens to lay 300 eggs a year? In the meat industry, they selectively bred those chickens to grow really large in such a short space of time that their legs break underneath them. This is because the farmer wants to profit from them as fast as possible. So at 42 days old, that is when they are deemed profitable to go to a slaughterhouse to make money from them. They are all babies. Every single animal that you eat is a baby who didn't want to die. But even if they weren't babies, even if they're adults and at the end of their life, it's still wrong to take someone else's life away from them.
We keep getting questions like this all the time. People put these crazy scenarios out there to try and make
Would you kill a
veganism
baby
look
for 100 cows or something like that?
weird. Was it going on when I was behind there as well? Yeah, like, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, that's like saying, would you kill all of your family to save your mum? Or would you kill your mum to save the rest of your family? It's a situation that hopefully you're never in. We're not asking you to choose. We're just asking you to not pay for one to be killed, okay? You don't have to stab humans to be vegan. You just don't hurt anybody. You just don't stab anybody in the throat.
Yeah.
It's really easy, but for some reason people come up with these weird hypotheticals that you'll never be in that situation. But you would never say to someone who's fighting in the war for your country to say, oh, you know, well, would you kill 10 dogs to kill this person who might kill 10 humans? Well, what are you on about? It's not even a situation.
Who are we here with today, and describe the environment?
Absolutely stinks outside this slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouses stink of blood and guts and feces, pus, poo, absolutely horrific. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.
Did someone just fail at shouting out of the car?
Yeah, a little lady in her car. She couldn't even get her words out and then drove away embarrassed. Don't be like those disgusting people in the world. I'm not saying you guys are disgusted, I'm saying those who mock the animals and laugh at them when they can hear the cries of mercy is horrific. We're here in collaboration with Animal Aid today. Go to the link in our description to see the FSA report done on this facility. Now for the FSA, the Food Standard Agency, to actually do a report stating that things are not being complied to in there is huge, because often in Joey Carstrong's investigation, you see the FSA person there stood with a clipboard whilst the criminal activity is happening. Okay, there's a lot of deceit, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of paying people off in these industries because they don't want you guys to know. Why do you think that in like America, Tyson's Food has like an ag-gag law where you can't even expose what's happening? Even if you're a worker on the inside, they stop you from even speaking up. How horrific is that, okay? Animals are being oppressed and used and commodified because people are not vegan. Now, it might not be your fault. You might not realize these industries even exist. I never did for 26 years of my life. I'm outside a slaughterhouse today. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, comment. You can see here, they've got this gate here. This gate here is normally on an automated system which goes quite slow. When we turn up with a camera to film the animals going in, that's all we're trying to do. We're not going to go inside, but we are here to film the animals. They then get 2 little puppets on the gate who have to run it because they can run it faster than the automated system can open and close it. Okay, why do you think they do that? Why do you think they got CCTV? Why do you think they got spiked fence? Why do you think they've got a million signs here? Because they're scared of transparency. They're scared of you seeing the truth. They're scared of you seeing the incompetence in there, the brutality, horrific things that happen to animals. There's no right way to kill someone who doesn't want to die or use them, commodify them in any which way. Please subscribe.
Mini cooking, but high question. What is the goal of the live stream? I'm 3, but yeah, just wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. The goal of the live stream is to show you the truth. The truth that has been hidden from you, okay? It's not here to hate on you. It's not here to say you're a bad person. It's just here outside a slaughterhouse in real time, showing you the innocent individuals going inside, because hopefully, to anyone with compassion, when you connect to the individual, people go vegan on the spot and they stop paying for their brutality of their murder, their mutilation, their kidnap, their grape without the G. the gas chambers that happens to them. Did you know in the UK the majority of the way animals are killed are inside gas chambers? They burn from the inside out. Go and look at Pignorant on Amazon Prime. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Just going to switch back in with Steve.
Wow, let me just read this comment. I'm going to adjust this.
Yeah.
The cow is someone, it is an animal without a soul. Humans are different, we eat meat.
Wow.
Who are you to decipher
Very
whether
demonic.
a cow has a soul or not, and then based on your assessment and what your opinion is, have the right to execute them, commodify them, and exploit them? What if a different race come down and looked at you and said, nah, this person's view on animals means that he doesn't have a soul, or she doesn't have a soul, they don't have a soul. Let's exploit them and kill them. What an evil, warped mindset. Guys, that's the number 3. That's the anti-vegan. They're not a dormant vegan. Someone who's seeing animals as lesser than them, someone who sees animals as someone who doesn't need moral consideration, and they're probably consistent. They probably will say the same about dogs and cats and dolphins. Most people aren't consistent. Most people have what's known as a speciesist mindset. It's like racism, but for the animals. So racism is oppressing a group or a collective due to the way that they look, their race, okay? So we treat them differently. Now, we're all against that, right? We think that racism is bad and everyone's anti-racist. And if you see racism happening, we try and step in and we try and stop it. We say, no, that's wrong, leave that person alone. Just because they look boom, doesn't mean that you can do this, right? That's racism. Now, if you're not vegan, but you morally consider and love dogs, for example, and then you eat cows and chickens, without knowing it, you're speciesist. You're saying if you've got paws, a waggy tail and some big floppy ears, then I'm going to rub your belly, I'm going to make sure you're all okay, I'm going to give you a Christian name, look after you, put you in my house and make sure that you're safe. But if you've got hooves, if you've got talons, if you've got a beak, if you've got feathers, then off to the slaughterhouse of you, and I'm going to oppress you and exploit you and eat you just because of the species that you've been born into. This is speciesism. It is a form of racism towards animals. Have you ever thought about it like that? Subscribe and 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to the conversation. And thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. We're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse that FSA audited just recently. And over on Animal Aid's website, done by Alex.activism, there has been a report on the findings. Go into the description of this live stream and check out the report for yourself. It will shock you what you will find.
The irony, we just had someone say that they're not for lies. Well, then you should be vegan because at the moment you believe the lies of the industry.
This is the trouble, the industry of lies.
We got Thick Omni-Man, very convenient name, is spamming the chat saying 7.5 billion animals die every year from plant farms. So like...
Yeah, well, 90 billion land animals die in slaughterhouses, and 2 to 3 trillion sea animals die every year for non-vegans. Now, when you look at plant farming, when you look at crop farming, it's preventing civilization collapse. It's not there for taste pleasure. It's not there for a business. It is the lowest possible cause of harm that could be made to prevent civilization collapse. These plant farmers aren't vegan. So how can we get a plant farmer to morally consider the rats or the slugs or the spiders or the birds when we can't get them to stop forcing pregnancies on animals and smashing the animals' heads on the floor like thumping in the pig industry where a piglet's not growing fast enough, so they pick them up by their back legs and just smash their head on their floor until they're dead? How can we get arable farmers to morally consider animals when we can't get anyone to stop commodifying and viewing animals as a product in the first place? Now, when we do have veganic farming, and which we do have, by the way, there are vegan farming systems. You get vertical farming, you get underground farming, you get hydroponic farming without the use of pesticides. There's ways around it, but at the moment, yeah, it's well not ideal. It's far from ideal. We have got the knowledge, we have got the ability to do this in a humane, ethical way to grow crops where no animals are killed whatsoever. But why aren't we doing it? Because we can't even stop the industry putting 6-month-old piglets inside gas chambers for bacon sandwiches, the RSPCA assured scheme stamping a stamp of approval on it to make some money, and then the consumer at the end of it never questioning a single part of that step.
We got Dar Vandon Daily, sorry if I said that wrong. But I'm not vegan. I don't think it's all right that people are like yummy burger on these videos and that. I only agree if animals are being killed in an ethical way. I'm not anti-vegan, but we need meat to live.
Right, first of all, I want to say thank you for taking time for being here, and thank you for putting your comment in the chat, and I hope you're still here to listen to us answer it. Now, you sound like 90% of vegans before they went vegan. You're someone who doesn't like the laughing and the mocking of the animals because you probably feel bad when you see animals being mocked and laughed at when they're dying. Yeah. You are considering how the animals die. You don't want it to happen, but if it has to happen, quote unquote, it has to happen, you want it done humanely because you consider them, you don't like it, it's uncomfortable for you. Let me give you the best news you're ever going to receive in your life. It's not necessary. It doesn't need to happen. You can buy the vegan option, you can get the vegan burger, the vegan sausages, the vegan pizza, the vegan ice cream. You don't have to be part of that industry and that system whatsoever. So you have now just been released from the lies that the industry have told you that you have to do it. So now what was in your heart originally, I hope it's humane, I don't like the animals being mocked. Now you can remove yourself from that system. Now you can be vegan and defend them.
But now they put, also you guys are spreading some false info.
What false information do you believe that we're spreading? Genuinely, put in there the things that we've said that are false. If you haven't got time to put it all in there, then please go and watch Dominion on YouTube and go and see it for the truth. We don't just live stream outside slaughterhouses. We have our other channel, our purple channel. We go and we investigate farms. We go inside these places for ourselves. We go and investigate pig farms, farrowing crates, we've been in chicken farms, we've investigated dairy farms, we've been in seeing it firsthand for ourselves so that when we talk to you, we can talk with conviction, we can talk with experience. This is why we're here. We weren't born vegan, but an amazing activist, Joey Carbstrong, showed us the reality and the truth, and we saw a dairy cow being killed inside of a slaughterhouse.
Okay, so Darvon Don Daly, he put baby cows are sent, I think you meant are not sent to slaughterhouses. Is that what you think we're saying? That is not true.
Okay, well, go back into our shorts. You're going to find it on your phone. All right, stay on the live stream. We've got footage of baby cows going inside slaughterhouses. If you go and watch Dominion, baby cows go inside slaughterhouses. I'll tell you why. In the dairy industry, males born in the dairy industry are viewed as a waste product because dairy industry is a standalone breed of cow that are exploited for breast milk. Males don't produce breast milk. Obviously, they're not females, so they're killed within a couple of weeks, or they're grown at 6 months old, and then they go and get killed for veal. Some dairy farms use sex semen where they use like Angus bulls, so if they get any male kickbacks, so they get put into the beef industry as well. But quite often, a lot of these calves are just rejects from the dairy industry that are killed either on the farms or at slaughterhouses. And like Mel's about to show you, we've been there, we've stood there ourselves whilst these babies have come past us at maybe a week to 2 weeks old. And this is the reality. Did you even know that dairy cows and cows exploited for their meat are two different breeds of cows? Meat cows, their babies stay with their mums because they want to be grown as fast as possible. Dairy cows, their babies are removed because the milk is the product, quote unquote product, that is commodified and used to make profit. Subscribe, put one in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put two in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put three in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Have you got it on there?
Yep, these are the baby cows going inside.
Let me zoom a little bit so you can, oh.
It's very quick.
It's very quick. All right, stay there, stay there, stay there, it's coming back.
Can you hold that umbrella?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just show you. Here you go.
There they are. There they are, all babies. You can see the black and white there from the dairy industry.
See that slaughterhouse there? See how we have no reason to lie. We will only tell you the truth.
And this is shocking, right? And this is why we're here. This is why we're saying we're not here to judge you. We're not here to say you're a bad person. But the industry has given you all this misinformation. The industry doesn't have any transparency. It replaces transparency with lies. So people believe what the industry tell them. It's the best business you've ever come across. Imagine this business has marketed its product so well that people believe that we're baby cows. If you came to my house and I made you a cup of coffee and I put rat milk in it, would you drink it? Well, what's the difference? It's a mammal's breast milk, but you put cow's milk in it, and because it's deemed normal and because it's marketed to you like some sort of calcium superfood, you believe that it's good for you. It's not. It's absolute exploitation from beginning to end. It's an injustice that doesn't need to happen, and you can have 21 other different milks alternative milks without having to pay for the kidnap of babies, the forceful impregnations of mothers, and all the violence that comes with it. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. We appreciate you being here. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. I believe something's going to happen in a minute. I've got a feeling that something's happening here.
Look at these two on the gate here.
Yeah, the way that they're standing, it looks like things are going to be happening soon.
Yeah,
guys,
they watch us when we move as well, because they know when we move that we're about to film the truck coming in. There's a truck in there now.
Guys, we're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. Animal Aid have done a report from the Food Standard Authority's audit that was done. It was released about a week ago from here. Alex Activism has done the report over at animalaid.org.uk. You can go to the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, click on the link in the description and go and read it for yourself. Now, this slaughterhouse, let me tell you about it. This slaughterhouse here, what I'm telling you actually, subscribing 1 vegan, subscribing 2, not vegan, but a kind person wondering why we're here. Subscribing 3 for anti-vegan and double tap the live stream. Animals will be coming any minute, guys. Let me tell you about this Food Standard Authority report that was done here. 8 major non-compliances at this slaughterhouse. Now, them major non-compliances contained improper handling of animals, improper layerage conditions. That's where the animals are waiting before they go through to be stabbed. Improper restraints on the kill floor, improper CCTV that can't produce clear pictures, lack of certification of competence. Now, a certification of competence could be someone on the kill floor who's actually killing the animals, and they haven't got a lack of certification of competence. It was a major non-compliance by the Food Standard Authority. Now, the Food Standard Agency, who everybody trusts in, the same as the RSPCA Assured, same as Red Tractor, same as all the other nonsense, they come here and they found all that bad stuff happening, but it's still open. This place is still running, and not one bit of transparent evidence was sent out to the public to say, by the way, guys, FSA, we feel it's a duty to let the public know that we went and investigated and done our audit and we found major non-compliances. That was 8 major non-compliances, but guess what? 19 minor non-compliances, which is huge. This place has had massive non-compliances. Now, we're not even here for welfare, we're here for animal rights. That shouldn't be happening in the first place. But surely that creates distrust amongst you guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was someone who used to believe words like humane, organic, free range. I'd always buy cage-free eggs, and in fact, I'd probably give evils to someone who was buying the caged eggs. But I was just fooled by marketing like the happy egg, the laughing cow. Why do you think they have to put marketing on a product like that? Because behind the happy eggs and the laughing cow is absolute demonic brutality, murder, enslavement, mutilation. Seeing someone as a commodity and slave is the reason why we have animal agriculture. Animal agriculture needs to go extinct. Slaughterhouses need to be extinct.
Renee, thank you so much for your constant support.
Thank you.
All donations go towards unlocking our matching grant. So from the bottom of our heart, we appreciate every single one. Thank you so much. Renee's comment is, I will see you at Vegan Camp Out so soon. It's the only time vegans don't have to see this invisible war zone that non-vegans are still blind towards. It's like paradise on earth, but animals never get a break in the abuse machinery.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the invisible war zone, that's a great title for a book, great title for a documentary. The invisible war zone. I absolutely love that. Yeah. Renee, I'm stealing that.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to meeting you in person as well, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you. What? That's giving me like the bubble.
The invisible war zone is completely correct.
Isn't it?
We often say that we're shining a light on the animals. The industry have tried so hard to hide from you. They maneuver in the dark. They maneuver in big barns. They maneuver behind these gates. And you're right, this is the biggest war zone that the world has ever seen on the biggest battlefield. This is a world war upon the animals, and it's invisible. And in fact, people don't even see animals as a victim, which is so heartbreaking, because I stand here listening to the cries of those mother cows inside these places, and all around the world it's horrific. Yeah.
Archie Reggie is back.
Oh, epic. Thanks for being back, Archie.
Archie Reggie's comment, I'm finally vegan.
Absolute legend. Archie, epic. Thank you so much for coming back and telling us that. Thank you so much for being open-minded enough to listen. I know you had a lot of questions. I know there was just a lot going on, wasn't there? But I hope that you found these live streams useful, and thank you so much for being vegan for the animals. The animals really need people urgently, 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 urgently. When number twos, right? Number twos are just normal people of the world who just don't know any better. And we're not here to say you're a bad person. We're not here to judge you, but we are here to tell you the truth. And when people see the truth, when good people know what happens to animals, good people go vegan, just like Archie's done, and so many others on this live stream as well. Today I'm outside a slaughterhouse, not for my benefit. I hate being here. It breaks my heart being here. I'm here purely to shine a light on the industry of absolute evil who have lied to you. And at the end of the lies, and at the end of your money going towards this industry, there is a real life victim who is screaming for their life on the kill floor as we speak right now. Around the world, there's gas chambers for pigs, chickens, turkeys, begging for their life, suffocating to death, burning from the inside out. Horrific, and they are all babies who need your help urgently. You cannot preach kindness and peace and say that you're a good person the whole time you are sending animals to experimentation labs, to bullfighting, to horse racing, to greyhound racing, to slaughterhouses. It's horrific.
Gospel British Isles put God created the fish, cows, birds, vegetables and plants for food. Humans are the crown of God's creation.
No, absolutely not. In fact, God created the Garden of Eden. If that's what you believe in, he created the Garden of Eden and he said that was good. So his perfect creation was vegan. He gave you every herb bearing seed of fruit with a seed or whatever it is in the Garden of Eden. In heaven, it's all vegan, there's no killing in heaven. He said in the end times, the ox will lay down with the lamb. There is no killing. It's only when sin came into the world and it was like, you can start eating animals. He still only meant bugs. And also, did you know that the fruit and vegetables in the Garden of Eden, he called, they'll be your meat. Okay, so people have just change the word to something else to fit their narrative. Okay, if you're someone who is compassionate and kind, do not cherry pick the Bible to make you think it's okay to wash the blood of your hands of innocent animals because you said God said so. That is not true. That is not the reality. Animals deserve a life just like you and I. Stop using the book to justify your immoral actions. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Go and watch Christspiracy and actually learn.
Who are we here with today?
Yeah, we're here in collaboration with Animal Aid today. We're here because they are killing animals behind this gates of hell. They're killing dairy cows and beef cows. There's an FSA report done last year, okay, with major and non-major compliances, non-compliances happening here. Recently, only last week, I think it was, on the 4th, the FSA put out a new audit on this industry, this place behind me, and it's got even worse. More major non-compliances, more minor non-compliances, lack of incompetency certificates, okay, lack of CCTV where they can actually see the animals on the kill floor conveniently, lack of restraints, not stunning animals correctly, the lairage is not fit for purpose. But we're not here for welfare, but we are here to show you that how the hell are these industries running when there's criminal activity happening here and they're allowed to continue.
Bandit VMC, but mate, what do you want people to do with their cows? Actually, please explain.
Okay, yeah, so thank you so much for your question. Thank you for being here. So basically, the world sadly won't go vegan overnight. Now, these industries are all about supply and demand. So the whole time you are demanding animal products with your money by purchasing meat, eggs, dairy, wool, leather, fish, and things like that. They are forcing animals into existence to keep up with demand. So when that demand drops, the supply also drops as well. And then eventually when the world goes vegan, there'll be no more animals being bred into existence. And any animals that are left, because everyone's vegan, they'll want to help the animals and we'll have sanctuaries to put them in.
Richard Corbett, 1, you inspired me to finally get off my backside and start street outreach this year.
Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic, amazing. Well done for holding yourself accountable to go and fight for the animals who desperately need you. And I bet you've changed so many people vegan, right? I remember when I was really nervous about going to do activism, and the first time I spoke to someone went vegan, and I was like, oh my gosh, we are all actually so powerful. We just need to tell people the truth, and when good people see and they know, they really do change. It's only the minority who are the number 3s in the world, and one day when there is a lot, wouldn't be here.
Question. Why vegan, not vegetarian? Milk is anyway produced, eggs are anyway laid, honey is anyway produced. Casper, thank you very much for your comment.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comment. So I'm at a slaughterhouse where they kill dairy cows. In the dairy industry, like, cows only produce milk for their babies, okay? They've been genetically modified to grow such large udders and produce so much milk. The farmers take the babies away, they kill the males, they then use her over and over, use her reproductive system until she can no longer stand up and produce enough milk, and around 4 years old she gets sent to a slaughterhouse. Okay, they don't just produce milk for no reason. Just like egg-laying hens, they are called egg-laying hens because they've been selectively bred to lay 300 eggs a year. Naturally, they only lay 12. They've been genetically modified because people see animals as a resource and a commodity for them. Bees in the honey industry, they cut the queen bee's wings off, they squeeze the drones, which are the males, they get the sperm out of them by killing them, injecting the females, they literally pull her apart and inject her with the semen. Basically the bees, when the queen bee is there, she can't leave, so they won't ever leave her. They go out, they collect honey. Honey is actually bee vomit. It's actually the food for the bees. When the farmer comes in, he takes the honey away and replaces it with sugary water, which isn't good enough for them, and a lot of them die, okay? And then also when they can't produce enough, they literally will set these hives on fire. So veganism, let me explain what veganism is in just 1 second. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. The reason why all of this happens is because humans see animals as a resource, a use and a commodity for them. The moment we don't see them as that, no more animal agriculture, no more animal slavery. Veganism is an ethical stance against the use and exploitation of animals. Just how I wouldn't use humans for my own gain, I don't use animals either. Thank you for your question.
Wow, you're on fire there. That was some real knowledge being dropped there. I hope everyone was listening to what Mel said. Please go back and re-listen to it. Absolutely flawless. Explained so well. You did a great job there.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, we're live outside of a slaughterhouse. We're here to bring the reality of what happens to animals from the darkness into the light. We're here to find kind, compassionate people with empathy in their hearts and for them to go vegan. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to point fingers. We're here to educate and show you the truth that the industry pay billions and billions of pounds to hide. As I explain the next thing that I want to explain, I want you to subscribe for 1 if you're vegan, subscribe for 2 if you're not vegan but you're open-minded. We appreciate you being here. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Now, someone keeps putting in now, I can't remember the handle, apologies. I eat sushi.
Yeah, Joshua.
Joshua, but I eat sushi, I eat sushi. Joshua, I hope you eat vegan sushi. Vegan sushi exists, you can get vegan sushi, it tastes exactly the same, but no, sea animals were exploited and killed.
Let's see inside the slaughterhouse.
I wonder if they'll speak to me about the FSA breaches.
Livestock transport, Sussex, okay.
This guy's filming on his phone. It's against the law to film on your phone. Look at the animal bones in the front. It's illegal to film on your phone. I'm going to submit that to the police. What's your opinion on the FSA breaches here? Do you understand the FSA breaches here? You probably don't understand me, do you? Get a proper job. Look at the shit coming out the back of this.
Look at that.
Look at this.
How triggered was that man, baby?
They nearly just drove straight into the bin men. Nearly drove straight into them. Absolutely carnage because they're trying to hide the truth at a slaughterhouse. Why is it that anyone around here thinks that they can operate outside the law? Why do these drivers think that they can go on the phone and film as they're driving? Anyone else caught on their phone or with their mobile phone in their hand in a running motor vehicle is against the law. We're going to submit absolutely everything to the police. The authorities get sent absolutely every breach of the justice. We won't let this slip into the darkness. Animal farmers, these industries that exploit animals, they think that they can write a law to themselves. They think that the law doesn't abide to them. Absolutely crazy. Subscribe and 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Right now, you're looking directly inside of a slaughterhouse here in the UK. This is an ABP slaughterhouse. This slaughterhouse has got 8 major non-compliances. It's got 19 minor non-compliances. The FSA report was done by Alex over at animalaid.org.uk. You can go there by clicking the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, going into the description and clicking on the link and reading the report for yourself. Go and see what actually happens. Major non-compliances like improper stunning, no CCTV, lack of certificates of competence, horrific. The public never get told the truth. The public never get the transparency that they deserve. If you were to remove any chance of you supporting this violent industry, that you go vegan, how sadistic is it that that driver who literally has just dropped cows off to be killed at a slaughterhouse, on the front of his dashboard, he had the bones of the cow's horns on his dashboard. It's just so twisted and sick in my opinion.
And then nearly crashed.
Yeah, and then he drove straight into the garbage truck because of the not wanting to talk to us.
We got Daniel Holmes, A report written by a vegan, question mark. The irony, right?
As a what?
The report written by a vegan.
The report written,
So
no.
FSA is not a vegan
Yeah,
organisation.
no, it's not written by a vegan. The FSA is the Food Standard Agency, or the Food Standard Authority. They came here and done an audit. They said that there was 8 major non-compliances and 19 minor non-compliances. What Animal Aid have done, and Alex over there, who they obviously are vegan, they brought the FSA's report to the public. The FSA never published their report to the public. There's never a public announcement from like the FSA, from Red Tractor, from RSPCA Assured.
No.
They never publicly come out and say, we just want to let the public know. We have a duty of care to the public to let you know that this slaughterhouse is still operating with 8 major non-compliances and 19 minor non-compliances, by the way. But if you don't really care, don't worry about it. Because the minute that they come out and they're truthful about what they find, people just go, what the hell's going on? I'm removing my support for that industry. But question this, if the FSA have come and done a report, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah.
How many investigative videos have you seen, for example, from Joey Carbstrong, where the FSA people have stood there with clipboards when criminal acts are taking place and nothing's reported? And now, the FSA have actually reported on this very facility. That means that whatever's happening here is horrific. Of course it is, because it's a slaughterhouse. There is no right way to do the wrong thing. We're not here for the welfare benefits of the animals. We're not here to uphold the welfare laws. We're here to say, don't give this industry a penny of your money. Remove your personal accountability for exploiting and killing animals, and be vegan. Subscribe, but 1 if you've already done that. Subscribe, and 2 if you've not done it yet, but you're a kind person. Thank you for being here, listening to us. Subscribe, and 3 if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the screen.
It really upsets me how people just try and make excuses
What's
to
the excuse?
oppress animals. It's just so many. We've also got Badger McSpoon who put, used to be vegan, then I lapsed. I'm going to start again today. The health benefits are amazing. Keep up this good work. Good people need reminding sometimes.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm glad you're going to go vegan again today, but what I would challenge you to do is go and watch Dominion on YouTube from the beginning to the end. Because when people say I'm going vegan for health, it's easy to let yourself down. And if you've not gone vegan with the correct alignment with ethics and morals, then it's easy to fall back on it. But anyone who goes vegan for the right reasons, like the ethical reasons, because you're against exploiting and using animals, you'd never go back on that. That's like me, like all of a sudden becoming racist and going, I know that was quite bad what I done there. And do you know what? I'm going to go back to being anti-racist. Like, yeah, it was actually much better for me when I was anti-racist. It's not fair on the individual who's being exploited due to your opinion or your actions. Think of it always from the animal's point of view, and it's the easiest thing that you'll ever do. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've done that already. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. We're here today not to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today to come up alongside you and be basically like what Mel says. We're your friends telling you this bad stuff's happening, and you're part of it unless you're vegan.
Yeah, Badger McSpoon put, fair enough, good point.
Thanks, Badger. Badger, I want to just take a time to say I appreciate you being in the chat. I appreciate your time watching. I appreciate your time commenting. Thank you for being here. And Badger, go watch Dominion. It's the best thing you'll ever do, because it will really instill why you should be vegan. How and the benefits come underneath the why. The why must always be top of the pile and our focus. And when that is, it's the easiest decision you've ever made.
Why is it important to watch Dominion?
Because you know the truth. These industries remove transparency, and instead of transparency, they put lies. And them lies is what's indoctrinated and conditioned from such a young age that we never critically think about it and we never challenge it. And them lies are then reinforced with fake marketing terms like grass-fed, organic, free range, Red Tractor, RSPCA certified. It's done up in such a tight knot that we have to see it with our own eyes. Now, I could stand here and I could narrate Dominion to you, and I could tell you male chicks are blended up in the egg industry, 6-month-old piglets go into gas chambers, CO2 to be killed, fish are sucked out into boiling water and ammonia because they got sores and they're dying. The top 4 foot of any of these salmon pods is just dead fish all over it. I can explain this all to you, right? And you go, that sounds pretty bad. But it doesn't do what seeing it with your own eyes does to you. If you put Dominion on and you watch animals having their lives taken, you see the fear in their eyes, you see the way they act the other side of this gate, you see the way how they're desperately trying to evade and fight for their lives, it changes you, it hits your heart different.
Rene, thank you so much for your kind super thanks.
Thank you, Rene.
Wouldn't be the first time they accidentally killed activists by carelessly driving.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The industries go to great lengths to cover up the truth. Why? Ask yourself why. Even if you're, like, let's say you're a number 2 and you're here today, listen to what we're saying, okay? And you believe all the humane hype, you believe all the marketing. If we've come here to live stream outside of a slaughterhouse and this was humane and ethical, why do they go to such lengths to hide what's happening here to you? They've got security pushing and pulling the gate. They've got CCTV locked on us. They've got 16-foot spike fences. You can't look inside these places. If we go past any boundaries, police are called. There is no one coming out to answer any of our questions. Every time we've come here, I've gone and asked puppet number 1 if anyone's going to come out and give me a statement on the FSA's findings here and explain to me why there's 8 major non-compliances, 19 minor, why it's still operating. Silence. No one comes and talks. It's just lock up, lock down. Another thing they do is they phone the trucks and they hold the trucks off. They put trucks into go and sit in a lay-by for an hour, go and get a coffee. We'll phone you when the activists go. We'll walk down the road. We'll come back 20 minutes later and it's all operational again. They hold the trucks back because they don't want the consumer seeing the animals. But if this was humane and ethical, why? Why don't they want you seeing the animals? And the answer is because it's not humane and ethical. And when good people see the helpless eyes, when they hear the cries of bellows and mercy from the animals as they come past, it's different. You connect. All of a sudden, it's not just a circle of meat called a burger. It's not just a sphere or a lump of meat called a sausage. It's not just, you know, a block of cheese. It was an individual who was exploited for that product. And that's what hits home. That's what affects their profit margins. That's what affects their bottom line. And that's why they don't want you to see the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just seen a comment from someone going, I'm not going to sit and watch 2-hour video for something that's not going to change my mind.
It will.
Well, you can't even sit and watch 2 hours when the animals who are being executed because of you are literally screaming for their lives. Their blood is being spilt on the floor of this slaughterhouse right now, and you can't even give 2 hours of your time to look at what you pay for. That's shameful. That's extremely weak. Most people aren't like that. Most people are like, you know what, yeah, I've been lied to. You'd rather believe the lies for your entire life than actually look at what you pay for. Now that's called willful ignorance, okay? You're having a victim because of your willful ignorance, and that is disgusting, it's demonic, because when you see, and when you truly watch Dominion, you will see why I'm saying how demonic that is, because right now you don't even understand. You'd rather believe words like humane, conditioning, organic, free range to make yourself feel better.
It's Zari, but sorry to break it to you, but just because you're protesting in front of a slaughterhouse doesn't mean that people will automatically turn vegan. How many screenshots have we taken today?
Yeah, actually, you're wrong. The majority of people do go vegan when they know the truth. A small minority. But there's always a small minority of psychopaths in the world. There's always a small minority of people who are always going to be racist, who are always going to child traffic. That's not... You can't change some people who are just psychopaths, and that's why we have laws in place to lock those people away, because they're not fit for purpose. They shouldn't be amongst humans, they shouldn't be amongst children, they shouldn't be amongst animals, okay? Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like, share and comment.
Great comment from Zach. What made you become vegan? Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you so much. I actually saw it inside of a slaughterhouse, and that's what made me go vegan. For years, I used to pay for slaughterhouses. I didn't really understand. I was disconnected from the products that I was purchasing with my money to what was actually happening to the animals, and I didn't realize it was like a direct link. I didn't realize supply and demand. I saw a cow from the dairy industry crying for her life inside a slaughterhouse. She was having her throat cut open again and again, bolt gun slash her throat. She could feel everything, and I saw the look on her eyes. I saw her face, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm paying for this because I pay for cow's milk. And I was like, I can't be the reason for that. I have principles and I have morals, and once I saw, it was like my eyes had finally been opened. I didn't know cows were killed for dairy, I didn't know, but it opened my eyes up to all of the industry as a whole, and I realised that if I'm not vegan, I'm paying for animals all over the world to be oppressed and used for me when I can just be vegan and not pay for it.
Commenter put genuine question, so we'll answer it.
Yeah.
They put, are cows conscious?
Absolutely, just like how we're conscious, okay? Like, that's That's like not even a question. That's just an obvious statement that of course they're conscious. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. You know, these kind of questions are like when white people used to oppress people who are of different race and colour. They would say, oh, they don't have a conscience, they don't have a soul, to make them feel better about exploiting them and using them as slaves. But of course it's obvious that we all have a consciousness. We all deserve a right to our own life. You have a brain central nervous system can feel pain and experience life. They used to be protected.
Happy in 7451. Thank you so much for that reminder there. Yeah, the Cambridge Declaration on Consciousness. Go and read it.
Yeah, thank you. Also, please go and look in the link in our description. We are here today in collaboration with Animal Aid, who have done published the article that the FSA put out, which is the Food Standard Agency, on this place behind me. Last year, they had major non-compliances, minor non-compliances, and this year it's got even worse, okay? But they still were given a satisfactory, allowed to continue to work, even though there is criminal activity happening behind, lack of incompetence, not stunning animals correctly, misuse of equipment. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded, but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. We're not here for welfare, by the way, we're here for animal rights, but when the freedom of information request is put in, it's horrific. It gives you distrust in the industry.
Oliver Likes Buns has put, genuine question, why is racism being brought up so much?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, you know, racism is like treating somebody different purely on the way that they look, their skin colour, their race. Speciesism is the same form of racism, but it's a speciesism. So it's like you're treating someone different because of the body that they're born into, if they're born a different species, okay? So just because these individuals have been born into the body of a cow, people are being racist towards them by using them as slaves and commodities. Okay, that's why it's a form of racism, it's speciesism. See how they align? And we should just be against both.
Gregson Tag, we've answered this a million times, but chat moves fast, so maybe you weren't here.
Yeah.
Chickens naturally make eggs. Ones you eat aren't fertilized. Cows also milk naturally, and they get uncomfortable if they're not milked. So milking cows is better for them, and fish don't protect their babies.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we asked this question over and over again. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. I will answer that. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Which is pro-animal exploitation. Okay, so veganism is the baseline, which means you don't oppress anybody. It's just a normal person who doesn't pay for the violence and mutilation or slavery or commodity of somebody else. Vegetarians is still bad because you are paying the industry to kill animals. Behind me is a slaughterhouse where they kill cows from the dairy industry, the egg production industry. So, okay, it all starts from a hatchery. Basically, there's parent breeder sheds where they get fertilized eggs from, which go to a hatchery, which then they separate the males and the females. The females are the ones who go into the barns who lay the eggs. The males are classed as a waste product, so they're sentenced to death. They're sentenced to a gas chamber, or they're put in a black bag and they tie the top up, or the majority of the way they kill the males is they put in a open blender alive. A big blender, little cute male chicks go straight into the blender on day 1 of life. Now the females often get their beaks cut off with this hot iron, and then they get sentenced to these big barns, free range, whatever, it's all the same, okay? Chickens have been selectively bred over the years to lay 300 eggs a year. Naturally, they would only lay 12. So if you ever rescue chickens, make sure you give their eggs back to them, they eat their eggs back. The chickens at 18 months old get sentenced to a gas chamber to be killed. Okay, that's the egg industry. I'll explain the milk industry in just a second. But please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Is there a quick question?
Just a really nice comment. Richard Corbett put amazing response to the GMB dairy feature yesterday, by the way, Mel. Long form video, amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, thank you so much. Yeah, it really infuriates me how people just are allowed to lie on TV and get away with it, because that's the whole reason I paid for industries like this, because I believed, oh, we just have to milk the cows, it's a good thing for the cows, and they completely miss out this part. So on the person who said, why is the dairy industry bad, let me explain. In the dairy industry, when a cow is sexually mature enough, she is forced into a cattle crush, which is where she cannot escape. The farmer then puts himself inside of her, puts his arm inside of her and makes her pregnant. Dairy cows carry their babies for 9 months. When she gives birth to her baby, if they are male, they are sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be killed. They're seen as a waste product, just like the male chicks in the egg industry. If she gives birth to a female, she still has her babies kidnapped from her, but the female's put in an isolation booth away from the mother. They cry for anguish, for days, for weeks for each other. They're extremely maternal animals. She then has her milk sucked from her over and over. When she can no longer produce as much milk, she then gets that process happen to her again. It's so abusive. And then when she can't produce milk or produce a baby anymore, she's sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be killed. Every single cow in the dairy industry gets sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be killed as infants. Is there a question?
Yeah, D's Gap put a genuine question. Why do you like being vegan and don't you think it's natural to eat meat?
That's like saying, why do you like being against racism? It's like, it's just normal. It's just normal to be against it. It's normal to not hurt anybody. It's normal to not oppress anybody or see anybody as a use and a resource. The difference is that you've just been disconnected. You don't understand. When I used to pick up like a chicken breast in Tesco's, I didn't see that as a actual animal. I just saw that as food. Like when I picked up an apple, I looked at it the same. Now, when I see the animals because I've seen what happens to those animals. I've seen the gas chambers. I've seen the mutilation. I've met them in person and we've investigated these places. I can't remember the second thing you said. I'm really sorry.
That's fine. You smashed it out there. Really good.
If you keep asking, I can ask Steve.
Keep them coming, guys. So I keep seeing the comment, why are you still at the same place? You've been there for 3 years. Absolutely. And we're never leaving. We're going to be here every single week, showing you, the public, the truth, what happens behind the closed doors of slaughterhouses. We will stop when the industry stops exploiting animals. The animals deserve nothing less. If it was our loved ones, if it was us, we'd defend them with this intensity and they deserve the same. Today, the gravity of the issue is that behind me, animals will be being murdered. They'll be forced from the lairage onto a kill floor to face someone wearing an apron, welly boots, a hairnet, gloves, and holding a knife. And the person with the knife is there and their sole responsibility is to end the life of that individual who does not want to die. To me, this is nothing short of murder.
Yeah.
And why? Because her breast milk will go into your tea or coffee. Her cheese, blocks of cheese will make money. Her body will be chopped up and put in pet food. It's an absolute injustice. This doesn't need to happen. This is not a necessity. There is no justification for it. This is a slaughterhouse. We're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. Please go into the top right-hand corner, hit the 3 dots, go into the description and look at the report done by alex.activism over at animalaid.org.uk on the FSA, the Food Standard Agency audit done just a couple of weeks ago at this very facility, which uncovered 8 major non-compliances and 19 minor non-compliances.
We've got Des Gap. Genuine question again. We won't be here if Stone Age and Wood Age didn't eat meat.
Okay, yeah, Des, thanks very much for being here. Thanks for your questions. Look, evolution, the continual development of human species. We should continue to evolve. We don't need to. When you have no option, you can justify it. Like the Andes plane crash. People eating people, they had a justification to eat the people. In fact, you could even argue if they killed someone to eat them, you could argue that survival and it was kind of still justified to do it if you had to survive. But this isn't survival. You have options. You can go to the supermarket and buy all the plant-based options. You don't have to go to the zoo. You don't have to go to the dogs. You don't have to go to the horses. You don't have to go and pay for stuff to be tested on animals. You have options. When you have options and it's not a necessity, then there's no justification. Subscribe for one if you're already vegan. Subscribe for 2 if you're not vegan, but thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and comments. Please put your questions in there below. Subscribe for 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. We're here with Animal Aid. Go into the description and look at the report done by Alex Activism over at animalaid.org.uk.
Yeah, sorry, there's not many actual questions right now. Keep asking questions.
So much.
What about fish? Fish don't feel pain though, right?
Fish are sentient beings. Fish feel pain. Fish absolutely have emotions. I've seen footage of fish having their lives taken. Someone stuck a metal rod straight into the brain of this fish, and the fish actually looked at their killer, their tail curled up in a contraction of like pain, and I saw them as they died. It was absolutely horrific. I could see a facial expression on these animals. Sentience is what matters. The ability to feel pain, having a subjective experience of your life, having emotions, having desires. This is exactly why we're here fighting for these animals' rights not welfare, because there's no right way to exploit anyone who doesn't want to die, who doesn't want to be oppressed and exploited. Fish feel pain, absolutely. Some fish have peripheral nerves on the outside of their body, touch sensitive nerves on the outside of their body to determine water depths and water pressures. Absolutely, fish feel pain. Just because they look different doesn't mean that we write them off.
Ping Global put, what about honey?
Honey is an absolute, thank you very much for your comment and taking your time to be here. Honey is an absolute exploitive industry. What they do is they cut the wings off of the queen bee so that she stays in the hive so that the drone bees don't go anywhere. To make her pregnant, they take the males and they squeeze the male's abdomen to extract the semen. In doing so, it literally ruptures the internal organs of the male bees to a point where they die from it. They then inject that semen into her to produce more bees. When the females are there, they cut the wings off, they keep them in the hive so the drones keep coming back. Bee honey is bee vomit, where bees have worked hard to store food for winter. The bee honey gets removed, it gets replaced with sugary water. When the bees are no longer at a profitable rate of honey production, they just set fire to the hives, they smoke the hives out, they kill them, and just replace them with a new batch of bees to be exploited. Honey is absolutely an exploitive, violent industry and needs to be boycotted.
Absolutely. Well said as well. Soccer for Life put, I'm vegetarian.
Soccer for Life, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to comment. Subscribe 1 for vegans, subscribe 2 for not vegan but open-minded, subscribe 3 for anti-vegan, double tap the live stream. Make sure you've seen the animal aid link in the description. Vegetarians will be paying for the animals to come to this slaughterhouse today to die. Vegetarians will pay for the egg industry. Male chicks blended up alive on the first day of life. 18-month-old egg-laying hens go to gas chambers to be killed. They'll also pay for day or 2 old dairy calves who are born male to be executed, or at 6 months old to be killed, and mothers from the dairy industry to be killed. Also, by the way, a vegetarian would, for example, pack a plant-based lunch and go to the zoo. Vegetarians, if you're vegetarian because you're against exploiting animals, then veganism is the baseline of what you need to be. It is the very least we can do for the animals. Veganism is against the exploitation and use of animals, full stop, not just a diet.
Yeah. So Soccer for Life, I'm confused. Can you please say how vegetarians support killing animals?
Yeah, absolutely. Soccer for Life, absolutely. One's in the chat for vegan, 2 in the chat for non-vegans but are kind, open-minded people. Thank you for being here. 3 in the chat for anti-vegans. Soccer for Life, let me give you the dairy industry in a nutshell. We did it earlier. I can do dairy in 30 seconds. For dairy, right, dairy cows and meat cows are 2 different breeds of cows. Dairy cows are only exploited for their milk. They have pregnancy forced on them, artificial insemination, they have a hand put inside of their bum, they get semen injected into her, and she has a baby for 9 months, carries him for 9 months. When she gives birth, the baby is snatched and kidnapped from her the very next day. If the baby born is male, males in the dairy industry don't grow big enough to be a meat cow, so they're executed on a couple of days to a week because they're a waste product, right? They don't produce milk. If the females are born, they get put into an isolation hutch away from their mums. So any baby born in the dairy industry, male or female, is kidnapped from their mums. The mums chase the babies, they bellow, they cry out. It's extremely traumatizing for them. They're very maternal animals. She will then go to the milking parlour to be extensively milked. They've been genetically modified to produce more and more milk. Their udders are so enlarged they can barely walk. They have things like shackles tied around their back legs to stop them from falling over. When her milk production slows down, or when she can no longer calve, then she is viewed as a waste product and she gets sent to the slaughterhouse, and then she is replaced most likely with one of her children, females. That's the dairy industry. So if you're vegetarian and you're buying cheese, this is the industry you're supporting, so you're still paying for animals to be exploited and killed.
Yeah, Soccer for Life, if you watch Dominion on YouTube, you'll see all of this as well. You can see why veganism is the baseline. Richard Corbett put, Soccer for Life, I was vegetarian for 20 years. I thought it was enough, as I'd never seen the truth about eggs and dairy. If you make the switch, you won't regret it, only not doing it earlier.
Richard,
Absolutely.
1,000,000%, absolutely. And you know, so many people who I speak to are in Richard's position. They've been ethically vegetarian for years and years and years. Because the eggs and the dairy is so well hidden. Oh my God, the smell here.
Stinks.
Oh, did you just get that waft as
Yeah,
well?
I saw them tip something out over there.
Oh
and
my
then a kill
God.
worker went to their lairage area. They're killing animals. Smells of blood, guts, feces. It's just a fear, terrorising place for these poor cows.
Could you imagine being a cow turning up here today like with this? Oh my God, it would be, no wonder there's trails of like wee and poo on the way in. These animals are so scared. I can barely breathe, and I'm stood maybe 50 meters from the kill floor.
Okay, soccer for life, but thank you. But do cows die from getting milk? Because like you're saying, that vegetarians still support this. I'm still confused, sorry. No, don't say sorry.
Don't say sorry. Don't keep asking the questions until we have it clear. And like what Richard said, go and watch Dominion on YouTube and see the reality behind it. Dairy cows are killed for milk production. What happens is that the dairy industry has to run at a certain rate. So if a cow is, let's say, I don't know, 30 litres is what a cow needs to produce a day, right? Let's say this mother cow starts to produce 15 litres a day. All of a sudden, she's not worth the space, the feed, the water, and the time for the farmer because she's not as profitable as a cow that's producing 30 litres of milk per day. So what happens is the farmer says the next female that's born, who's sexually mature enough, is going to replace this cow. So this cow who's under quote unquote producing, let's go and send it to the slaughterhouse. Now in the dairy industry, over 20% of cows who go to the slaughterhouse are pregnant because dairy cows are sold on their weight. And on average, dairy cows are killed between 3 to 5 years old. So because she's deemed unprofitable, she maybe can't calve, she can't have another baby, or her milk production has slowed down. She's a waste product, she's executed and she's killed. So when you're paying for milk, this industry is a supply and demand industry. So all the time you're going and you're buying cheese and you're buying milk, you're voting with your money. Put the next cow in, put the next cow in, put the next cow in. And this is the violence that you're perpetuating. So if you're part of that system, creating a demand for dairy, then you are demanding animals are exploited and killed for milk. I hope that that makes a little bit more sense. If it doesn't, put more questions in there. We'll keep going through it.
Yeah, because you seem like a really nice person and you're like, oh, you really want to learn why it's bad. I totally understand that because I used to pay for it as well. I had no idea that what happens in the dairy and the egg industry is so horrible, abusive, and they all get taken to a slaughterhouse to be killed. I had zero idea because the adverts show you that cows eat grass, produce milk, and it's good for you. That's what they tell you. Actually, it's very far from the truth. Cows only produce milk because they are mothers. That milk is intended for their baby. If you're drinking the cow's milk, what's happening to the baby? The baby males taken to slaughterhouses. The females are being used for their reproductive system to create new babies when they're sexually mature enough. They all get killed, all of them. It's horrific, and I didn't know this, and that's so unfair. I think that's an injustice in itself that we have been lied to pay for something that we are very against. I've always loved animals, but I didn't know what I was paying for, just like it seems like you don't either, and that's not your fault. These industries actually pay billions of pounds to make sure that you don't know what happens because they want your money. Because we believe vegetarian is basically coined by these industries themselves. Because they are a business, let me explain more in just 1 second. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. And subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Also, Soccer for Life, subscribe and please write any comments in our comment section as well, and we'll get back to you, or other vegans will get back to you as well with your questions too. I can't remember what I was saying.
Vegan Christianity is here, like helping massively. Matthew Kittle's here. We've got some amazing vegan support here today. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's what I was saying. We believe the vegetarian word is coined by the industry itself as a safety catch for their business, because when people connect with the animals, when they have these connection points, they go vegetarian because they think that's not harming any animals. So they coined a word, we believe, called vegetarian, which then makes people still pay the industry their money, their wage in dairy and eggs, because you don't realise that you are still paying them.
Soccer for Life, but okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for asking genuine questions. This is how we learn, this is how we evolve, and this is how we start aligning our morals and our actions together. So veganism is a ethical stance against any use or any form of exploitation against animals. The slaughterhouse gates are opening again. The gates of hell are opening here again. Cows are inside this place today being killed by this disgusting, evil industry, okay? Disgusting, evil place that is non-compliant, by the way. The FSA report done here shows major non-compliances in this facility, lack of competency, animals not being stung correctly. It's absolutely horrific. Now, we're not here for welfare, but go and check out the article done by Animal Aid, and I'll link in our description to see the non-compliances happening here. How come there's criminal activity that happened here and they're still allowed to operate? We believe no places should operate that exploit animals. Bullfights fighting should end. Animal experimentation should end. Animal slaughterhouses should be extinct. Animal exploitation camps that people call farms should be extinct.
These Gap put a genuine question again. If you're stuck in a forest, would you butcher a pig to survive?
No, absolutely not. If there is a pig in a forest, then there is obviously plants, because otherwise that pig could not be surviving. I'd go and find the plants that that pig is eating, and I'd go and find some for me and the pig, and we'd sit there together until we get
The irony, they'd probably be better at finding it as well.
Yeah, they would be.
Sucker for life, but I'm so sorry for asking so many questions.
No, don't say
but
sorry.
I asked my mum if I should be vegan, and she said it would be very hard because being vegetarian is hard enough. I told her vegetarians still support it.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, your mum also doesn't understand the industries as well, and that's not their fault. If you sit down with your mum and watch Dominion, it's actually really easy to be vegan. It's easier than you think. So when you know what you should do. If you're vegetarian already, then it's basically just making sure you find all the vegan alternatives and the vegan cheese and stuff like that. In supermarkets, there's a plant-based section, so you can find plant milks. I recommend soy milk is the best. I love it. It was the easiest from cow's milk to soy milk and oat milk. Also, you have things like Ben & Jerry's do the vegan ice cream. You have vegan cheese. Cathedral City do vegan cheese. Just make sure it says vegan. So you know when you go shopping with your mum, you can quickly run around the shop and just find it. So then it doesn't even make a difference to your mum as well. And then hopefully she says, why do you want to be vegan? Watch Dominion so you can see the reality together. A lot of kids actually, I don't know how old you are, but we've had kids come in the live stream saying my mum and dad won't let me. They've sat down, we've watched Dominion, and now they're all vegan together. So you are so powerful. You could be the powerful change that the animals really need. Just keep going with it, keep going with it. It's easier than you think. It's just before people look into it, they think it's this big deal, when actually it's just switching your a few things and moving your hand from one place and Tesco's to the other place and not paying for any leather or wool or anything like that. You got this. I believe in you. You can do it. Let's do it. The animals need you so much. This is a slaughterhouse, guys. Today I'm here in collaboration with Animal Aid, who have done an article report on the FSA findings here. It's actually got worse from last year. Go and see for yourself in the link in our description what happens to animals. I am seeing butterflies at every slaughterhouse I'm going to right now. Every place is just everywhere I'm going. Yeah. It really breaks my heart being here, guys. It breaks my heart. Why do you think that someone who loves animals so much would come to a slaughterhouse to have their heart broken? It's because the animals need us to be here. We need to be here defending them and telling you guys the truth, because so many people don't know what happens to animals. They don't realise. And anyone who actually is a kind person, they go vegan when they know better. It's just that at the moment you don't know better. So how do you have any motivation to change? But when you know better, you do better. And that's why a lot of people go from number 2 and go to number 1. And that's what we had today in this live chat. Go and watch Dominion on YouTube. See for yourself what happens in these industries. We've also got our main channel, It's Mel and Steve. It's a purple icon where we actually investigate these places. We've been inside farms in the middle of the night. We've been inside pig farms. Seen the farrowing crates that these poor mother pigs are forced to endure. Did you know that 90% of pigs are forced to go inside CO2 gas chambers where they burn from the inside out? They scream for their life. We've stood outside those slaughterhouses here in the UK, assured by the RSPCA. Horrific. People don't realise this. Please subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe. Put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment.
Who are you here with today, and what is behind you?
Yeah, I'm here at a slaughterhouse today in collaboration with Animal Aid today. Check out their report on the FSA findings here at this slaughterhouse at ABP Foods in Guildford. The fact they even say food group is disgusting. Animals are not food. They're not here for us. They're not here as a resource, commodity or a use. Did you know in the pig industry, did you know this? When a piglet is not growing fast enough, the farmers will go inside, they'll pick up that piglet, they'll pick their back legs up, swing them and smash their head on the floor. That's how they kill them if they're not growing fast enough, called knocking in these industries.
Renee, thank you so much for even more super thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Renee's comment is, when it comes to food, people should go to Vegan Camp out this weekend. You'll see how much there is, all the food you already like and how good it tastes. People stand in line for hours to have Giuseppe's vegan tiramisu at his shop.
Yeah, absolutely. Vegan camp out is this weekend. Definitely check it out. Go to it. There's like, I think there's over 50 food vendors.
There's all the food you can think of,
yeah,
isn't there?
vegan Chinese, vegan ice cream, vegan cheese, vegan kebabs, vegan everything. Absolutely everything that you already have, but the alternative. Nothing changes for you when you go vegan. I remember when we first went vegan, we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? We're just gonna eat beans on toast because I don't know what to have. Then we went to the supermarket, we found all the alternatives and was like, oh, this is actually really easy.
For people who want to go vegan, what would you suggest? Is there like Happy Cow maybe or anything like that that they could use to find vegan restaurants?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone who is like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go vegan, the first thing you do is you watch Dominion on YouTube to find out your why. Why you go vegan is always going to hold you from a moral point of view. How you go vegan then becomes easy. You have apps like Happy Cow, which wherever you are in the world, you can literally type in a vegan restaurant and it will find it for you, and then you can be guided there. Just use Google. If you don't know if something's vegan, just quickly Google it. Is this vegan? Type in the brand, and that's what we do and make sure everything that we purchase does not hurt any animals.
And why should people be vegan?
For the animals, it's the most urgent issue of our time, the biggest war that's ever happened in our history, and it's happening today. It's happening on the animals by the billions, the trillions. 3 trillion animals every single year are being forced into existence, being brutally killed, mutilated, kidnapped, raped without the G, forced inside gas chambers, and every single animal has their throat cut open. Even dogs and greyhound racing, horses in the horse racing industry, they get sentenced to a slaughterhouse to be killed as well. The moment you see someone as a commodity, a use, a slave for you, is the moment that they are exploited. Okay, please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream.